Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Long Thursday Night War. I appreciate you coming back. And let's see, this is actually a special episode. This is episode 100 in this series. And this episode's going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about base assaults. We're going to kind of get an update, kind of an operational update on where we're at with everything. From the last episode that you watched in this playlist to this one, about another month. Basically a month has gone by in game time. As you can see, we are basically right a few hours actually away from the next council report coming in. And the reason that that's important to note is that every month that goes by in Long War, the number of bases that you have, enemy bases, not only is that likely to increase, but the difficulty of those challenges increases. Okay, so it's not just that the base assaults in general are difficult. They're more difficult than maybe you might realize, particularly if you're new to Long War. Not unlike terror missions, when you do a base assault, the tier of the enemies jumps up like 2 tiers. And so let me give you kind of a case example. Let's say that you're fighting heavy floaters in your campaign, and that's like the toughest thing that you're up against at that point, and maybe a little bit heavier mechtoid, okay? Then what would happen if you were at that stage and you went and did a base assault and you ran into heavy floaters, then what would happen is you would see heavy floaters like War Masters, which are the leaders that are incredibly difficult to kill. You might see, other kind of like named enemies like Sauron Mutons. You may see Gunstars for the cyber discs and things like that. So it's not easy when you go to do a base assault really at any point in the campaign, in my opinion, and you want to prepare the best you can. I'm a little worried about ours because I think we're right on the edge right now. I think we're right at the edge of it being kind of ugly. Like I think this is going to be moderately challenging. I don't think it's going to be too brutal because we've kind of closed the technology gap. And we have a bunch of highly trained soldiers, which helps. The other thing that you absolutely have to have before you go is this Foundry Project. Where is it at here? Where are you? Here we go. Super Sky Ranger. You have to have completed this project. If you didn't, don't go. You got to have this at a bare minimum. Matter of fact, I would say you need at least Gauss tier weapons and advanced armor and Super Sky Ranger if you're kind of like in the early part of the mid game. We're towards the end of the mid game, transitioning into the late game. So we needed to have even more of an edge before going, but this at a minimum, because this allows you to take additional soldiers. Okay, speaking of soldiers, let's take a look at the roster here. A lot of people have moved into Master Sergeant rank. We've got a few at Gunnery Sergeant that we're still kind of cooking. We've made progress, particularly when it comes to our Sai people. We do have, and you'll see this, you can see they're already tagged to go on the mission. And the reason these particular medics are tagged to go on the mission, I'll show you once we look at the details. Our Jaeger mech, Enigma, he's almost Master Sergeant. I do have some unassigned people. If you are a Patreon supporter of any level and you'd like one of these gunnery sergeants, let me know. I'll be happy to give them to you. And then there are quite a few of these to be assigned tech sergeants and whatnot and sergeants that are available. So I'll go back to the general subscriber soldier list and I'll try to fill all these in. I spent more time playing and less time looking at that stuff. That's just the truth of it. Here's a brand new soldier I did a trade for. Let's see, what do you got here? 5 base health. Wow, nice aim. Pretty decent balanced stats. Too bad you're came into the game late there, Kate. Okay, let's see. Infantry? You know what? Let's do Rocketeer. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll take Ranger, and then we'll take Rapid Reaction 80 at Corporal. That's pretty solid. Customize. Why did I just pick a Racketeer? Because there's only a few classes when you get into the late game that are still even valuable to take on a mission. So like a corporal ranked Racketeer, you could still take that person on a mission and they could add value. Other good late game classes, infantry are good late game. Scouts are still good late game because let's face it, you get lightning reflexes at the beginning. So even like these low level or low ranked scouts are still useful on a mission. If you're not counting on them for damage or whatever, they're fine. They're just like utility players. You know, at the very least, a low-ranked Racketeer can destroy cover, right? So they still add value. Other things like, you know, assaults or engineers, late-game engineers don't make any sense, in my opinion, because engineers, as a whole, their value falls off tremendously in the end game, unless they have some utility to them. Okay, I did decide to do, as you can see here, cybernetic augmentation. I don't think you guys saw the video where Vero got messed up, but Vero got really messed up. It was going to be, I think, in the bay for like 46 days. And when you consider that we have advanced surgery, that's kind of crazy. So I decided to go ahead and do cybernetic augmentation. So we'll pick up another Marauder mech trooper from that. We've got Cujo here, wounded for 16. Got some people in the genetics lab. We've got some more Psionics training going on. But really, for the most part, we've got the whole staff is back, which is nice. Okay, something else I wanted to do before we go anywhere is get regimental officers. Let's do that. And we'll do some promotions here in a second. We're low on cash, but that's okay. I've been waiting to sell off all the stuff that we've collected from downing UFOs. And as you can see here, there's quite a few. So let's just go ahead and sell all these. Yep. All right. Oh yeah, fusion cores. You like that? Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you shoot down an assault carrier with a firestorm that has an EMP weapon, and then you clear it out. Yeah, that was pretty good. So we do have some fusion cores. We really can't do anything with them right now, but we will be able to do some cool stuff with them. Research for now is... Oh, we could do assault carrier. Okay, I was about to say there was nothing for us to do, but we could do this. Basically, we're done with research until we get some of these things kind of like mission-based or campaign-based marks done, like story marks. Like we're about to do a base assault. That'll open up some more research, but for now, we're done. Let's take a look at the base. So I kind of reconfigured this just a little bit. We've got space for the other special facilities we're going to need. If we need more power... no problem. What I was thinking is we would drop an Alarium generator right here, which actually, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that. Begin construction. And then we can get rid of some of these others if we need more facility space or if we just want to optimize more. Yep. I'm not too concerned about it. Like you could put another workshop here and here and here, but at this point, we've built the majority of the things we're going to need. Speaking of which, here's what we've got cooking right now. A firestorm and 2 more laser cannons. And I did build, if you were wondering about equipment, I did build additional sets of armor and weapons so that we would have what we needed for the base assault. That also includes all the plasma weapons that we could build. Like, we have access to everything, but we can't build anything else. So, you know, because we need like alien heavy weapon or alien rifles, which means that going forward, particularly when we get like a fighter crash site, we're going to need to try to do more capture missions just to get the weapons so we can build more. But we have a decent amount. I think if I remember correctly, we've got like 2 plasma carbines. We've got 1 plasma rifle, I know for sure. And there's a couple other things, but we'll double check when we go in there. Let's take a look here at the hangar. We've got another firestorm coming in 7 days. Europe is guarded by a firestorm with an EMP cannon and a couple of laser cannon fighters. We've got another laser cannon equipped firestorm right here. And then I've tried to spread out the resources so we have like higher ranked fighter pilots if we don't have a firestorm, and then just make sure that they all have laser cannons. And we do have, I think, all of the upgrades now. We'll double check on the Foundry in just a second, but I think we've got all of the upgrades. So we've been holding pretty steady, actually. Very few fighters have escaped in the last 30 days, like pretty much none, which is cool. So a combination of firestorms being available for the harder targets and basically anything destroyer, fighter, scout, all of those, raiders, I've actually been able to still handle with regular aircraft because we've upgraded them so much. But it's getting really tough. Like I have to use like boosters and whatnot, which is fine, except some of the boosters take like cyber wreck parts, and you know, those are not quite as common as the others, so that's a challenge. Okay, let's see. Let's double check the Foundry and see if there's anything else we need in here. Advanced repair, no. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff here that I'm really interested in at this point. Mech close combat, it's so situational, it doesn't really feel like it's worth it. Yeah, I don't know. Enhanced ballistics, our sidearms combined, whatever, we'll just do it. It's fine. Let's see what else. Advanced repair. I don't know that it's worth these resources, honestly. We're doing pretty well. If our fighter craft start getting beat up for multiple weeks, I'll buy this, but otherwise I'm going to stay clear. And enhanced plasma. No, we don't have the resources for that. So I think we're good. We've got all, like I said, we've got all of the major things that we need in terms of upgrades for tactical combat, and we have everything, pretty much everything that can possibly get for the aircraft. So I feel pretty good about that. Okay, now let's double check, see if there's anybody that needs to go to the Gene Lab. I don't think there is. I think I've already upgraded everybody right now that needs it. Lunar, yep, you don't need anything. Garlic needs nothing. Bandord needs nothing. Ah, you need smart macrophages. Okay, so let's do that. Confirm. You do too. Okay. And let's go ahead and do those promotions. 2 people can become lieutenants. Okay. You can't because you're Sai. Do we have anyone else? Not seeing anyone else that I really want to make an officer. A tech sergeant. Infantry? Maybe. Alright, let's use the other promotions. Captain. Got a yeah, here we go. We got some lieutenants down here. We got Socks, and we've got Water. We've got Drew. Alright, let's promote Drew. It's gonna be damage reduction. Congratulations. Okay, and we've got another captain promotion. Let's see, who's got more experience? Cameron does. Okay, we'll give this one to Cameron then. Same thing. Salute. Okay, and then Major. That's going to be Talem. And we've got a choice between all soldiers at the squad rank or lower gain plus 25% XP for completing missions, or all units in the squad receive plus 25 XP for every kill. I think we'll just take End of the Breach, and then he can kind of be, congratulations. He can kind of be the guy that continues to take the lobies out. If we do that. Okay, we don't have another major person that can be promoted to major. We do have a couple of colonels, however, right? Really? You guys you haven't each led 5 missions in your current rank? What? Really? Okay, well, I guess we'll have to hold off on those. I really thought that these guys were both ready. Okay. Well, I guess that gives us something to look forward to. All right, let's jump into looking at the team itself. So we're going to go to South Africa. And I know that normally I don't even show you guys the loadouts, but for this, it makes sense to do so. So we'll go through. First, we'll go through and just take a look at who's going, and I'll speak a little bit to why, and then we'll look at their equipment. And there's going to be no mission in this one. So if you're not as familiar with the channel, when I do these kinds of operational updates, there's no mission. So if you're like, all right, let's get into the base assault. Yeah, it's not happening in this episode. As a matter of fact, when this episode airs, I may not even have any of the base assault episodes ready. I'm sorry to say. I may not, but they will be available soon. And I'll try to release them kind of close together. Just so you know, base assaults, I mean, I've had them go like 5-6 episodes before. It's pretty lengthy, so just be prepared to see them come out that way, kind of, you know, a little bit at a time. All right, so we've got an engineer, Barbosa. We've got a Jaeger mech, Enigma. We've got Yeti, a Rocketeer. We've got X-Ray, Sniper. We, Infantry, and our Officer. We've got Battle Waffle as our Scout. We've got 2 medics. We've got Fell, and we've got Fox, and we'll talk about both of them in a little bit of detail here in a moment. We've got Clutch as a Marauder, and then we have Orb, another Sniper. So first and foremost, I know there's going to be varying opinions on how best to handle a base assault. My experience, and that's all I'm speaking to, has taught me that you need to be able to handle medium and long range engagements. The encounters that you end up going against largely are because of the line of sight issues, because of the limited cover in certain sections, depending on how the map rolls out on you. If you don't have a lot of medium to long range fire support, you're going to have a hard time. And so it becomes a challenge to integrate powerful short range classes into the mix. Like as an example, an assault can be very, very helpful on a base assault when you're fighting just a handful of hardened targets and you really need to take them down. But the vast majority of the encounters usually happen at medium to long range in the base assault. So that kind of lowers their ability to participate. That's why you don't see an actual assault in the lineup here. I actually had Wolfric in here. I was going to take him because, 1, for tradition, and 2, because I wanted to be able to just like take a target down if I absolutely had to. But the reality is we've got Clutch here as a Marauder, and at this point we've invested enough in mechs that it makes more sense to take a mech in the place of an assault. So yeah, that's just one example of why. Things are a little bit different when you do a base assault. I've got 2 snipers. Speaking to that whole long range engagement, there are different types of snipers. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. Even Battle Waffle, our Scout, is set up for long range engagement. So, and then we actually technically have a 3rd sniper because we've got Enigma here. So let's go ahead and let's grab in or jump in here and look at some details. So let's take a look at Barbosa, Engineer. How is she set up? Primarily for mobility. And then we've got alien grenades for cover destruction. We've got some chem grenades for debuffing. And then, you know, you can go different ways with it. Matter of fact, we could grab Sai Grenades. And you know what? I'm tempted. You know what? I'm going to grab these Sai Grenades instead of Boom Boom Grenades because we have other ways to destroy cover. So Sai Grenades, we've got some Chem Grenades. These are obviously both for debuffing. Now, the way she's set up, she already has battle scanners, but if you take these as well, she's going to end up with like a ridiculous number. And that's important because it allows you to throw a battle scanner, right? And then pull a group using a sniper or get a kill right off the bat. It's really, really useful because even though we aren't taking a concealment scout with us, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, cover's sometimes problematic on these missions, and you can't count on a concealment scout being able to move forward and see everything that you need. So having the flexibility to throw a battle scanner and not having to worry about running out is important. So I highly suggest you take a build like this, where you've got, you know, Packmaster, you've got Smoke and Mirrors, you have battle scanner by default, and then take some additional ones with you. Don't just rely on the free ones that you get, thinking that 2 or 3 battle scanners is going to be enough. These are long missions. It's a good idea to take more. Okay, now we've got Enigma. Let's take a look at Enigma's loadout. Vindicator 7 suit. So this suit is really the best for kind of offensive mechs, in my opinion. It's got a good balance. So we've set Enigma up as a sniper because that's essentially what a Jaeger mech is. So Pulse Lance, Restorative Mist, because there's no reason not to. If you get a bunch of people beat up, you can just have them get around the Jaeger mech and then burst that out and heal everyone up, including the mech themselves. So very useful. Secondary of a grenade launcher. Then I've got one slot here where I could put another grenade launcher, but honestly, I guess we will. It'll take one movement off, but you can even leave it empty. It doesn't matter. You can even leave both slots empty for a sniper, because the reality is if you're close enough to use these, then you're not exactly using the Jägermech the way the Jägermech was designed, right? Just a thought. I didn't take a core armoring module or tactical sensors. Again, I'm going to rely on distance to keep him safe. So targeting module, a battle computer, which has +8 to all these stats, and then a scope. So you see here 89 plus 16 for aim. And since this mech relies on shooting at targets outside of cover, shouldn't miss that often, right? Okay, then you've got Yeti as our Rocketeer, loadout, Aegis armor, pulse carbine, recoilless rifle, rocket, scope, and then Walker servos. So he's not so bad on the maneuverability. Once the rockets get fired, this will go up even more, which is nice. What is your... Okay, and the reason I didn't give him something different, like an actual rifle versus a pulse carbine, is because I didn't build him with the suppression like I have some of the others. So there really wasn't any reason to. He's not going to be doing suppression, which means he's not going to be shooting that much. He's going to be focused on using his rockets. All right, first of 2 snipers. So here we've got Alex, aka X-Ray, Seraph armor, the Gauss long rifle. So the idea is that since X-Ray has double tap and precision shot and is really built to deal out as much damage as possible per shot, the long rifle is all about anti-mechanical. So Alex is supposed to serve as kind of our insurance policy against things like sectopods to some degree, but really more things like Gunstars or the really, really big mechtoids like the Vulcan mechtoids, and then there's a level even above them that are just crazy. And I want to be able to put some serious damage into those from safe distance. So Gauss long rifle, laser pistol, neural gun link, which if you're not familiar with it, it gives +12 aim, +12 crit, but you have to be a Sai operator. Alloy bipod, which gives us +6 and +6. And then of course, targeting module. So then when you have someone built out like this, you put them in the air, so they get basically, you know, they have unlimited range and bonuses to hit. And then the way the snipers are set up, this is how I set the snipers up. So they've got smart microphages, so if they do need to be healed, they get extra healing, and they are immune to poison and acid. And then depth perception, because if they're flying in the air, this will apply. They don't have to be on a building, it's just, doesn't matter if they're above the target, so flight suits, that works. And then secondary heart, just in case they happen to get sniped out of the air. That's how the snipers are configured. Okay, what else can I say? Oh, let's see, hold on. What do you also have? Sai abilities. Okay, just Mind Fray. Okay. Nicholas is rolling with, our infantry officer is rolling with pretty standard setup for the late game. This is how I like to do my infantry officers. In this case, he's carrying the 1 plasma rifle we have. Here's the stats for that. 6 to 10, 8% crit, 10 to 14 on the crit damage, laser pistol sidearm, targeting module, scope, and then Walker servos. So he's got good mobility. He can reposition, take a shot, or he can move up and suppress. A lot of flexibility when you have this kind of mobility on an infantry person. Okay, then we've got Battle Waffle. Battle Waffle is concealment scout and set up one to take a hit if you know she needs to, but to provide us, you know, with intel on the field and basically act, like I said earlier, as an additional sniper. So got the blaster rifle, and then we've got a Gauss auto pistol sidearm, the marksman scope to extend her range, scope, and then targeting module. And then for gene mods, smart microphages, depth perception, secondary hard, bioelectric skin in case we have to deal with cloaked enemies, and then super jumpy legs. So completely decked out. Usually scouts are the ones I invest in the most towards the end game, because they maintain their utility all the way to the end. So the investment is worthwhile, in my opinion. Okay, next, the two medics, and they are different versions. So we've got essentially Super Healy medic here, right? In Fel. And Fel's got 95 base well and then +10 wearing the suit. And then for Sai abilities, has Mind Fray, Distortion Field, Sai Panic, and then telekinetic field. So can activate this huge defensive barrier, giving us plus 40 defense to all allies. That's just tremendous. They're absolutely worth taking on a mission, if for nothing else, but plus all the other utility they bring. Okay, so we have one traditional sort of Healy type medic. Okay, so the big heals, or if we need to revive someone. And then we have a combat medic in Fox who has a different setup, right? This is the suppression, rapid reaction, ready for anything, opportunist, lock and load build. Okay, and has slightly different Sai abilities. So Mind Fray, Distortion Field, that's the same. Then we change it up here. We've got Mind Merge. So if he doesn't have a target, if he's not suppressing, then his job will be to use Mind Merge on one of the snipers every turn. Or potentially on Clutch, if we send Clutch in to deal with a group at close range. And then he also has Telekinetic Field. And since it re-ups every 4 turns, then, basically we could go Telekinetic Field, we're on our own for 2 turns, and then we've got Telekinetic Field again. I also have him carrying a Shadow Device. So if you look at their loadouts, Aurora Armor, Plasma Carbine, Healy, right? So tons of med packs. And then over here, we've got Titan Armor, Plasma Carbine, Healy, Shadow Device. So we can also hide everybody for 1 turn too. So the reality is things get really ugly for us. We can use Telekinetic Field again, Shadow Device, and if we still haven't cleared whatever we're fighting, well, then I guess we just bit off more than we could chew, right? Okay, got Clutch here set up in a Mech 4 Dauntless. This is a really tough but flexible mech. It does have a body shield. It has more DR. It's got a slight mobility penalty. It doesn't have jump jets, but that's okay. And then for the setup, I've got him configured essentially all for close combat, right? So Pulse Lance, double flamethrowers, kinetic strike module, incendiary module to enhance the flamethrowers, core armoring, so he cannot be critically hit, and it also gives plus 2 hit points. And then lastly, he's got his battle computer. So that's how he's set up. So basically just the opposite of Enigma. So Clutch is all completely configured, both equipment and skills, for close in. Just a refresher, he's got close encounter, so his first shot is free within 4 tiles. He's got shock absorbent armor, so he takes 33% less damage. Close combat specialist, ranger for additional base damage, repair servos, vital point targeting, and then rapid fire. So, which I like in particular. And it's always a tough call, like on this last level, because you got absorption fields, which is pretty good. You've got rapid fire, which is great. And you've got run and gun, which is great. With this build, where it's mostly, trying to make him as tough, as resilient as possible, I like rapid fire because if I'm going to take the risk to go in and utilize close encounters and essentially get a free standard shot, it allows us to do 3 shots on a target, right? You move in close and take that risk, fire, and then that triggers close encounters, and then the follow-up, you do rapid fire, 2 more shots. So, 3 shots at, point-blank range from the Pulse Lance is good stuff. That's good stuff. So, that's how he is set up. And then lastly, our other sniper, Dot, aka Orb, Seraph Armor, Pulse Sniper Rifle, Laser Pistol Sidearm, Neural Gun Link, Alloy Bipod, Targeting Module. Gene mods set up just like the other sniper. And abilities. Squad Sight, Lone Wolf, Snapshot, Ranger, Vital Point Targeting, Lock and Load, and In the Zone. So we've got a dedicated, let's do as much damage as possible sniper. That's also anti-mechanical. And then we have a sniper here that's designed to clean up a big mess. So damage a bunch of targets, and then we'll use Dot to sort of like clean sweep the place. So that is the team that's going on the base assault to South Africa. I hope that you look forward to it and that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider hitting that thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, I'm Mal, and I'll see you later.